Imagine, if you can, the single most frustrating object on the face of the planet.
Mm.
It's sitting on a desk in San Francisco right now. It's small, it's gray, really unsuspecting.
Right.
It looks like a standard USB drive, maybe a little bulkier, a little more ruggedized than what you'd pick up at an office supply store.
Yeah, one of those tough-looking ones.
Exactly. It's an iron key hard drive. And inside that little piece of plastic and silicon, sitting right there on the desk, is a digital fortune worth over $200 million.
It sounds like the plot of a bad thriller movie, doesn't it?
It really does.
The kind where the protagonist has to, hack the mainframe in the final 10 seconds while the clock ticks down.
Right, with the big red numbers.
But this is real life. This is the absolute waking reality for a German programmer named Stefan Thomas.
Thomas. And the story of how he ended up in this situation is, well, it's essentially the perfect nightmare to kick off today's deep dive.
It really is.
We are talking about a scenario that would keep the average person awake, just staring at the ceiling, grinding their teeth every single night for the rest of their life.
Oh, for sure.
So let's rewind the tape. How does a smart guy, a programmer, someone who understands technology, lose access to $200 million that he is physically holding in his hand?
It's a classic crypto story, really. It started so innocently.
They always.
If you have to go back a few years, Stefan made a simple animated video. It was an explainer video called What is Bitcoin?
Okay, so this is early days.
Very early days. This was the Wild West era when Bitcoin was, basically a niche experiment for cryptographers and cypherpunks and nerds.
Right.
It wasn't on Wall Street. It wasn't on the news. Your taxi driver was definitely not asking you about it.
No, it was magic internet money. It had no liquidity. You couldn't buy a car with it. You couldn't pay your taxes with it.
Not at all.
It was just points on a screen for hobbyists.
Yeah, exactly. So for his trouble, for making this animation explaining the protocol, a Bitcoin enthusiast paid him 7,002 Bitcoin.
7,002.
At the time, the exchange rate was, well, it was practically zero, negligible.
So he probably thought, what? Cool, thanks. Maybe I can buy a couple of pizzas or a T-shirt eventually.
That's probably exactly what he thought. So he creates a digital wallet to receive the payment. He puts the keys to that wallet on this encrypted iron key drive for safekeeping.
Makes sense.
And he writes the password for the drive on a piece of paper.
Standard procedure for the time. You write it down, you toss the paper in a drawer, maybe you stick it in a book.
And you forget about it.
And you forget about it because why would you treat a few dollars like they were the crown jewels?
Precisely. And then, as these stories always seem to go, he loses the paper.
Of course.
He moves house or cleans his desk, and the paper's just gone. Years go by. He forgets about the drive completely.
Out of sight, out of mind.
But then the world changes. The crypto bull markets hit. 2017 happens. 2021 happens. The whole asset class just explodes.
Right.
And suddenly, that pizza money isn't worth a few dollars anymore.
It's worth $200 million.
And he realizes he has the drive. He finds the iron key. It's right there in his hand.
My heart is racing just thinking about this moment.
He plugs it in. He sees the prompt for the password. But here is the mechanism that turns this into a tragedy. The iron key has a very specific security feature.
It's not like your email where you can just guess a million times.
Not at all. It has a self-destruct mechanism, effectively.
It's self-destruct, wow.
You get 10 guesses, 10 password attempts.
Only 10.
And if you fail that 10th time, the drive assumes you're a hacker trying to brute force it. It encrypts itself permanently. It scrambles its own internal architecture. The data is, for all intents and purposes, destroyed.
So Stefan sits down. He must be sweating bullets.
Oh, I'm sure.
He tries his usual passwords. Incorrect. Tries a variation. Incorrect. He tries his old email password. Incorrect. He tries the one he used for his bank.
Incorrect. And now,
Stefan has used 8 guesses. He has exactly 2 left. He is staring at $200 million, and he is paralyzed. He can't bring himself to type in a 9th guess.
Because if he's wrong, he's one step away from incineration.
One guess away from it all turning into digital dust.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that really breaks people's brains when they hear this story, especially if they come from traditional finance.
What's that?
There is no customer support.
That's the kicker. That's the part that's so hard to grasp. He can't call the bank.
Yep.
He can't walk into a branch and show his ID. He can't get a court order to force the drive open.
He is the rightful owner in every legal and moral sense. He earned it. It's his drive. But the math.
That doesn't share.
The math doesn't care. It is completely indifferent to his plight. The encryption algorithm doesn't know he's a nice guy, doesn't know he's suffering. It just executes the rules. Cold, hard logic.
And that terrifying indifference is exactly what we are here to unpack today. We aren't just here to gawk at Stefan's misfortune, although, it is a compelling story.
It's very compelling.
We are using his story as the entry point to understand the fundamental shift in the 21st century regarding ownership. We are digging into the public and private keys that control digital wealth.
Right.
Because understanding this isn't just technical trivia for computer science majors anymore. It is the difference between owning your assets
And donating them to the void like a shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean.
Exactly.
Precisely. If we zoom out, we have to look at how we even define ownership. In the traditional world, the world of fiat currency, real estate, stocks ownership is based on identity.
Right. Let's break that down for a second. If I walk into a Chase Bank or a Wells Fargo, what do? I show my face. I hand over my driver's license. I might sign a document so they can check my signature against what they have on file.
Yeah.
The institution looks at me, verifies that I am who I say I am, and then they grant me permission to move my money.
Exactly. It's a permission system. It's based on identity verification. Institutions act as gatekeepers. They stand between you and the asset.
And it has its benefits. If you lose your debit card,
You go to the bank, you show your ID, and they give you the new one.
simple.
Why? Because your money isn't on the card. The card is just a credential. The bank controls the ledger. But crypto ownership, it's fundamentally different. It is not based on identity.
This is such a hard pivot for people to grasp. The Bitcoin network or the Ethereum network,
Yeah.
they don't know your name.
They don't know your name. They don't know your credit score. They don't know your nationality. They don't know if you're a benevolent philanthropist giving money to charity
Or a cartel leader buying weapons.
Exactly. They're completely blind to identity.
They don't even know if you're a human being. You could be a refrigerator with an internet connection. You could be an AI agent.
In theory, yes. The network doesn't care who initiates the transaction. It only asks one very specific question.
And that is
Do you know the secret number? That's it.
just that one question.
It is ownership via knowledge. If you possess the knowledge, the key, you are the owner. If you lose that knowledge, like Stefan, you're no longer the owner. The network effectively says, sorry, I don't know who you are anymore.
And conversely, if someone else learns that knowledge.
If a hacker steals your key, they become the owner.
Wow.
The network sees the key and says, access granted, no questions asked.
It's a brutal kind of equality, isn't it? It removes the bias of the gatekeeper so no one can freeze your account because they don't like your politics, but it adds the death penalty for user error.
It's pure responsibility.
So let's unpack this secret number. We hear these terms thrown around constantly: public key, private key, seed phrase. It can feel like a soup of jargon.
It really can.
But we need to strip this down to the studs. Where does this technology actually come from? Because it didn't just appear out of nowhere with Bitcoin.
No, it goes back much further. To understand where we are, we have to look at the history of keeping secrets. For most of human history, if you wanted to send a secure message, say from a Roman emperor to a general on the front lines, you use what we call symmetric encryption.
Symmetric, meaning the lock and the key are the same.
Correct. Think of Julius Caesar. He used a cipher where he would shift every letter of the alphabet down by 3 spots. A became D, B became E, and so on.
The Caesar cipher. I remember that from school.
Also one. To read the message, the general simply had to know the rule and shift everything back 3 spots. The key was the rule. Shift 3.
But the flaw there is obvious, right? You have to tell the general the rule. You have to get the key to him before you can even send the secret message.
Exactly. And how do you do that in ancient Rome? You send a courier on a horse.
Right.
But if that courier is intercepted or bribed or tortured,
The enemy gets the key.
and once the enemy has the key, the entire system collapses. They can read every future message. This is the key distribution problem. It plagued cryptography for thousands of years. You cannot secretly share a password with someone you haven't met yet, or someone across a hostile ocean.
Which brings us to the 1970s, the era of disco, bell-bottoms, and apparently a massive breakthrough in mathematics that changed the entire world.
The breakthrough was asymmetric cryptography, also known as public key cryptography. Researchers like Whitfield Diffie, Martin Hellman, and Ralph Merkle realized something profound.
What did they figure out?
They discovered you could generate 2 keys. They are mathematically linked, they are born together as a pair, but they perform different functions.
So one locks and the other unlocks.
Precisely.
This is where it gets abstract for people, because we are so used to physical keys where the same key locks and unlocks the front door. Let's use the analogy you brought up in our pre-show notes, the mailbox.
It's the best way to visualize it. It's the aha moment for a lot of people.
Okay, lay it on us.
Imagine a sturdy metal mailbox standing on a street corner. This isn't your standard U.S. residential mailbox with a little red flag. Think of a secure drop box.
Okay, I'm picturing it. A heavy steel box bolted to the concrete.
Exactly. This mailbox has two distinct functions. It has a slot on the front and a locked door on the back.
A slot and a door. Got it.
The slot on the front represents your public key. Anyone in the world can walk up to that slot. You can paint the location of your mailbox on a billboard, 1203 Crypto Lane.
That's your public key, or more specifically, your address.
Right. It is safe to share. You can put it on your website. You can tattoo it on your forehead. Doesn't matter. People use it to drop letters or money into your box.
So if I want to send you Bitcoin, I'm essentially walking up to your mailbox slot and dropping it in.
Yep.
I don't need your permission to do that, and crucially, I don't need to know how to open the box to put money in it.
Exactly. I don't need to be there. I don't need to trust you. You just see the slot and you drop the value in. Now, once the money is in there, who can get it out?
Only the person with the key to the back door.
Only the person with the physical metal key that opens the locked back door. That is your private key.
And this is the critical distinction. The private key is the only thing that allows retrieval and spending.
Yes. And to extend the analogy, if you give someone a copy of your backdoor key, they don't just have access, they have total control.
They can empty the mailbox.
They can take everything you own. And unlike a real bank, you can't just call a locksmith and change the lock.
Right.
The lock is built into the universe of the blockchain. Once that key is compromised, the mailbox is burned. It's unsafe forever. You have to abandon it and get a whole new one.
So we have this public key, the slot, and the private key, the opener. You mentioned they are mathematically linked.
That's the magic, and we'll get into how that works. But you can prove that the public key belongs to the private key without ever showing the private key to anyone.
That allows for a trustless system.
Right. I don't need to trust you. I just need to verify the math.
Let's dig into the physical reality of this private key, because when people hear key, they think of a physical object or maybe a specific file on a computer, a key.txt file or something. But at its core, stripped of all the software interfaces, it's just a number, isn't it?
It is just a number, a very, very, very large integer. In Bitcoin and many other systems, it's a 256-bit integer.
Okay.
That means it is a string of 256 ones and zeros.
256 ones and zeros. When you say fast, it doesn't sound that big. We deal with gigabytes and terabytes of data every day. 256 bits sounds tiny. It sounds like a small text file.
It is tiny in terms of data storage. It takes up almost no space on a drive. But in terms of value, in terms of the number of possibilities, the scale is, well, it's hard for the human brain to comprehend.
How so?
We're terrible at exponential math. We think linearly, 1, 2, 3, or 10, 20, 30. But powers of 2, they explode upwards at a shocking rate.
Okay, so give us a sense of the security. Just how big is 2 to the power of 256?
2 to the power of 256 is roughly the same scale as the number of atoms in the visible universe.
Wait, hold on. I need to stop you there. Do you just say the number of atoms in the entire universe?
The visible universe. Every star in every galaxy, every planet, every grain of sand on every beach, every drop of water in every ocean. All of it.
I can't even picture that number.
No one can. It's a number so staggeringly vast that the human mind basically just glosses over and says, big number.
Yeah.
This scale is what provides the security.
Right.
Because people often ask, well, what if a hacker just guesses my key?
Right. That's the first question. If it's just a number, why can't I just program a supercomputer to count? Start at 1, then 2, then 3, and just check every single number to see if it holds money. That's a brute force attack.
That is a brute force attack.
Yeah.
But let's look at the physics of actually doing that. Let's say you built a computer that was incredibly efficient, the most efficient possible under the laws of physics.
Okay.
And let's say you didn't just have one. Let's say you turned every single atom in the Earth into a supercomputer.
The entire planet is my computer.
The entire planet. And you had them all guessing billions of times per second. And you ran them for the entire age of the universe, 13.8 billion years.
Okay, so I have a planet-sized computer running for billions of years. Surely I find the key.
You wouldn't even be scratching the surface.
No way.
You would be 1% of the way through the possibilities, not even a fraction of a percent. In fact, there's a concept in physics called the Landauer limit, which relates to the minimum amount of energy required to flip a bit of information. If you try to count up to 2256, You would need to harness the energy output of a supernova. You would literally boil the oceans and vaporize the planet just trying to power the computer to count that high.
That is actually incredibly comforting. So when people worry, what if someone guesses my key? The answer isn't it's hard. The answer is it is strictly thermodynamically impossible.
Exactly. The security isn't a firewall, it's probability. It's the sheer size of the haystack.
So when you create a wallet, what's actually happening?
Your computer is essentially flipping a coin 256 times. Heads, tails, heads, heads, tails. That sequence of coin flips generates your number.
And because the range of possible numbers is so huge?
We can be statistically certain, practically guaranteed, that the number you just picked has never been picked by another human being in history and never will be picked again for as long as humanity exists.
That concept is called entropy, right? It's all about randomness?
Yes, entropy is life in crypto. If your random number generator is bad, if it only picks from a small pool of numbers because of a software bug, you are vulnerable.
How so?
We've seen hacks happen because a wallet app was using a weak, random number generator. It's like hiding your house key under the doormat. It's the first place a thief looks.
But if you have true randomness...
You're safe. You've picked a grain of sand from a beach the size of the known universe. No one is ever going to find that exact same grain of sand by chance.
And this brings us to a really stark realization about what it means to hold Bitcoin. I think a lot of people imagine the Bitcoin is sitting inside their phone or inside their app.
Right, like a digital gold coin inside a digital purse.
Yeah, but that's not true at all, is it?
No. There is no Bitcoin on your phone. There is no Bitcoin in your hardware wallet.
So where is it?
The Bitcoin exists as a record on the blockchain ledger, which is copied across thousands, tens of thousands of computers globally. The only thing on your phone, the only thing you actually hold is that number, the private key.
It's the remote control.
That's a great way to put it. It's the remote control that authorizes the movement of funds on that global ledger.
And if you lose it?
If you delete that number, if you crush the remote control and don't have a backup, the funds sit on the ledger forever, unmoving, like a buried treasure chest where the map has been burned. The gold is still there underground, but for all practical purposes, it doesn't exist anymore because no one can ever move it.
Okay, so we have this massive secret number, the private key.
Yeah.
But as we established with the mailbox analogy, I can't go around telling people my secret number or they'll steal my money.
Correct.
So how do I get the address that I can share? How do we go from the secret to the public?
This is where we enter the one-way street of cryptography. We use a process called elliptic curve multiplication.
Okay, you're going to have to break that down.
Don't worry, no advanced math required. The simple version is we take your private key, that big random number, and we multiply it by a fixed point on a mathematical curve.
I'm getting flashbacks to high school calculus, but okay, I'm with you. Why is this a one-way street? Why can't a hacker just divide it back to find the key?
Because of the trapdoor function. In mathematics, some things are very easy to do in one direction, but functionally impossible to do in reverse.
You used a paint analogy in our pre-show notes that I loved. Let's bring that in because I think it makes it crystal clear.
It's the most visual way to grasp it. Imagine mixing paint. It is very easy for me to take a bucket of red paint and a bucket of yellow paint and mix them to get orange.
Right. A child can do it. You just stir it up.
Easy. But if I hand you a bucket of orange paint and say, okay, now separate this back into the original red and yellow molecules.
You can't. It's impossible.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Physically impossible. You can't unmix the paint.
That's the trapdoor.
Precisely. Your public address is the orange paint. Everyone can see it. You can paint your house with it. But no one can look at that orange paint and figure out the red and yellow ingredients, your private key that created it.
This is why you can put your crypto address on a business card or on a billboard without fear. The math itself protects the secret ingredients.
That's the core of the security model.
So we've established that the private key is a 256-bit integer, a giant string of ones and zeros. But here's the thing. When I set up my crypto wallet for the first time, I didn't see a giant string of binary code.
No, you saw words.
I saw words, which collapse, practice, feed.
Exactly, random English words, usually 12 or 24 of them.
This is the seed phrase.
Yeah.
So how do we get from a massive, unreadable number to a list of simple words?
This was a massive leap forward for user experience, a game changer.
Why was it so important?
In the very early days of Bitcoin, you had to manage raw data files called wallet.dat. If that file got corrupted, you were done. If you tried to type it out by hand and missed a 0 or a 1, you were done.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
It was. Developers realized Humans are terrible at remembering or even accurately transcribing binary or hexadecimal strings. You will never memorize 5KB, 8KL, F9 and get it right every time.
But you can remember, or at least accurately write down, a list of words.
Exactly. So they created the BIP 39 standard.
BIP 39, what does that stand for?
It stands for Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 39. Essentially, the wallet software takes your random entropy, your private key data, and it maps it to a specific standardized list of 2,048 English words.
So there's a dictionary of words that it pulls from?
A very specific numbered dictionary. Each word corresponds to a chunk of the binary data. So the words represent the numbers.
So the words are the numbers.
They are the number. They are just a human-readable translation. It's like translating a barcode into a price tag.
And what happens if my phone breaks? How do I use them?
You get a new device, you download a new wallet, and during setup, you choose Recover from Seed. You enter those 12 or 24 words in the correct order, and the software runs the math in reverse.
And it generates the exact same private key.
The exact same private key, which means you get access to all the funds associated with it on the blockchain.
This is a critical takeaway for everyone listening. Those words are not a password reset. They are not a backup in the traditional sense, like clicking forgot my password on Google or Facebook.
No. That is the most dangerous misconception in all of crypto.
Yeah.
People think, oh, this is just a recovery phrase, like a security question. No.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Those words are the money.
If I have the words, I have the money. If a hacker has the words, they have the money.
It bypasses everything else.
It bypasses Face ID. It bypasses your fingerprint. It bypasses your PIN code for the app.
It bypasses everything. It is the master key to the entire vault. This leads us to the golden rules of security, which we cannot stress enough.
Let's hit these hard, because this is where people get wrecked. They don't get wrecked because the math failed.
Oh, yeah, the math is solid.
They don't get wrecked because someone broke SHA-256 encryption. They get wrecked because they treated the seed phrase like a password.
Right. Rule number 1, and this is the most important, never type your seed phrase into a website.
Never.
There is no legitimate reason for any website to ever ask for it. If a site asks for your seed phrase, it is a phishing scam, period. End of story.
Even if it looks like the official support page for your wallet, even if it has the right logo and the right font, and it says security update required.
Especially if it looks like the official support page. Hackers are good at graphic design. They clone websites perfectly.
So what's the tell?
The tell is that they're asking for it. Legitimate customer support will never, ever ask for your seed phrase. A legitimate wallet app will only ask for it one time when you are first setting up or recovering a device. That's it.
Okay, that's clear. Rule number 2, digital storage.
Never screenshot it.
Yeah.
Do not take a picture of your piece of paper with your iPhone. Do not save it in a Google Doc or Evernote or a text file on your desktop or an email draft to yourself.
Why not? People trust the cloud with their family photos and their tax documents. Why is this different?
Because the cloud is not as private as you think. If your iCloud or Google Drive gets hacked, which happens all the time, hackers run automated scripts.
They're not looking through your files manually.
No, they're not sitting there looking at your vacation photos. They use OCR, optical character recognition. Their bots scan your images for text. They're specifically looking for words from the BIP 39 list.
So they have a script that just looks for 12 or 24 words in a row from that dictionary.
Exactly. And if their bot finds a screenshot of 12 words, it automatically drains the associated wallet before you even know you've been hacked. It can happen in seconds.
That is terrifying. It's automated robbery on a massive scale.
It's low-hanging fruit for them.
So where do we put it? If digital is bad, we have to go analog.
The physical world. Analog is your friend here. Write it on a piece of paper.
But even paper has risks, right? Water, fire, fading ink.
For sure. The dog eating it. So if you want to be really professional about it, you stamp it into metal plates.
Yeah.
Titanium or steel. You can buy kits for this online.
So it can survive a house fire.
It can survive a house fire. It can survive a flood. It's the most robust way to store it.
It feels almost archaic, doesn't it? We are dealing with this futuristic, cutting-edge digital currency, and the ultimate security measure is a piece of steel bolted inside a safe or buried in the backyard.
It's the great paradox of crypto. The highest tech requires the lowest tech security to be truly safe. The only unhackable thing is a thing that isn't connected to electricity.
If it's on paper or steel, a Russian hacker can't get to it unless he physically breaks into your house.
And at that point, you have a different set of problems.
Right. Now, speaking of user experience, let's talk about the word wallet. Because you've argued that the word itself is a lie.
It is.
Or at least it's a bad metaphor that confuses beginners.
It is a terrible metaphor. Because in the physical world, if I look in my leather wallet, what do I see? I see cash. I see credit cards.
The value is in the container.
Right. If I drop my wallet in the ocean, the cash is gone. The container holds the value.
But a crypto wallet doesn't hold anything.
Correct. A crypto wallet is a keychain or maybe a browser. It does one thing. It manages your keys, your seed phrase, and the private keys derived from it.
So when I open the app,
It's just looking at the public blockchain and asking a question. Hey, how much money is associated with these keys? It's a window into the ledger.
this explains why I can have a wallet app on my phone and a different wallet app on my laptop and a hardware wallet, and they all look at the same funds simultaneously.
Exactly. You are just swapping the lens through which you view the blockchain. This is important because going back to the wallet lost in the ocean idea, if you lose your hardware wallet or your phone breaks, you haven't lost your crypto.
You just lost the tool.
You just lost the tool you were using to view and sign with. As long as you have the seed phrase, the master key, you can buy a new device, type in the words, and there are your funds, untouched, still sitting on the global ledger.
That is a huge relief for people who worry about hardware failure. But let's move to the action. We've got the keys, we've got the address. I want to send money. I want to buy a coffee or send 1 BTC to Bob. What actually happens when I hit send?
Right.
Because I'm not typing in my private key to authorize it, that would reveal the secret.
No, and you never should. This is where digital signatures come in. It's a cryptographic magic trick.
A magic trick. Okay.
The problem is you need to prove you have the private key without revealing the private key.
How? That sounds like a paradox. Show me you have the password without telling me the password.
It does, but the math makes it possible. Okay, step by step.
Mm-hmm.
First, you create a message inside the wallet app. I, Alice, am sending 1 BTC to Bob.
Okay, the transaction details.
Your wallet software takes that message and mathematically combines it with your private key. This creates a unique string of characters called a signature.
So the signature is a product of the message and the key.
Yes. And if you change even one tiny detail of the message, say sending 1.0001 BTC instead of 1.0, the signature changes completely. It is specific to that exact transaction.
So I've got my message and my signature. What do I do with it?
You broadcast both of them to the network. You broadcast the message, Alice sends 1 BTC to Bob, and the signature. You do not broadcast the private key.
The key never leaves my device.
Never. The miners or validators on the network, they pick it up. They already have your public key because it's the from address.
Right, that's public information.
So they run a verification formula. This formula takes the message, the signature, and the public key, and it outputs a simple yes or no.
And what's the question it's asking?
It asks, was this signature created by the owner of the private key linked to this public address?
And the math can answer that with certainty.
Exactly. It can answer yes with 100% certainty without the miners ever seeing the private key itself.
It's like signing a check with invisible ink, and the bank has a special scanner, the public key, that proves it was your pen, but they never actually see the pen itself.
That's a really good way to visualize it. This keeps your key safe even while you are actively using it. You are broadcasting proof of ownership, not the ownership itself. This is why you can safely transact on a public open network.
We've covered the math, the keys, the transactions. Now let's talk about where we actually keep these things. We touched on paper and metal for the seed phrase, but in terms of software versus hardware, for daily use, we have this distinction, hot versus cold storage.
This is the storage architecture. It's all about risk management. Not all wallets are created equal in terms of security.
Let's start with the one most people use first, hot wallets.
A hot wallet is any wallet where the private keys are on a device that is connected to the internet.
So MetaMask on my browser, the Coinbase wallet app on my phone, Trust Wallet, Phantom, all those.
Yeah.
Right. The main advantage is they are convenient. They're fast. If you're trading on DeFi or buying NFTs or just, spending crypto, you need a hot wallet.
It's like having cash in your pocket.
That's the perfect analogy.
There's always a but.
But because they are connected to the internet 24/7, they are vulnerable. The attack surface is huge.
What do you mean by that?
If you click a bad link, if you download a file with malware, or if your computer just has a virus you don't know about, hackers can potentially access those keys. Keyloggers can read what you type.
I've heard of clipboard hijackers. That sounds sneaky.
It's very sneaky. You copy a friend's address from a text message, but when you go to paste it into your wallet, the malware on your computer swaps it for the hacker's address in that split second.
And if you don't double-check the address before you hit send?
The money goes straight to the hacker. And because crypto transactions are irreversible, there's no getting it back.
So hot wallets are for walking around money.
Walking around money. I love that term. You wouldn't walk around New York City with your entire life savings in your back pocket.
No, you carry $50, maybe 100.
That's what a hot wallet should be. $100, maybe $1,000. An amount of money you could technically afford to lose if the absolute worst happened.
Then we have the other side of the coin. Cold wallets, the hardware wallets. This is what you recommend for serious investors, for savings.
Old means disconnected. The private key never, ever touches the internet.
And the gold standard here is the hardware wallet devices like Ledger, Trezor, Cold Card, Bitbox.
Correct.
They look like USB sticks, maybe a little fancier.
They do, but they're not just storage. They are tiny, specialized computers. They have something called a secure element chip inside.
A secure element.
It's the same kind of chip that's in your passport or your credit card. It's designed to be tamper-resistant.
Okay, so how does it work in practice?
Here's how they work. When you want to send money, your computer, which is online, creates the transaction. It sends the unsigned transaction to the hardware wallet, which you've plugged in via USB.
So the raw transaction data goes into the stick.
Yes. The stick lights up, it has its own little screen, and it shows you the details. Are you sure you want to send 1 BTC to Bob at this address?
So you verify it on the device itself.
You have to physically press a button on the device to confirm. That's a crucial step.
And the signing, the magic part with the private key, happens inside the stick.
Inside the stick. The hardware wallet signs it with a private key, which has never left that secure chip, and then it sends the signed transaction back to the computer to be broadcast to the network.
So even if my computer is crawling with viruses, even if I have a keylogger watching every single keystroke,
the viruses can't get into the hardware wallet to steal the key.
the key is quarantined. It's air-gapped from the operating system of your computer.
Precisely. It is the cheapest and best insurance you can buy. If you have significant crypto assets, your life savings, or any amount of money that would seriously hurt to lose, you need a hardware wallet. It's not optional.
This brings up the final big debate in storage: custodial versus non-custodial. Or as the crypto hardliners always say, not your keys, not your coins.
This is the philosophical divide of the entire industry.
Let's define them. Custodial is the bank model.
Right. You use an exchange like Coinbase or Binance. You log in with a username and a password, but you don't have the private keys. The exchange has them. They hold them in custody for you.
So you essentially have an IOU. You have a claim on their database that says you own X amount of Bitcoin.
Right. You are trusting them to give you your money when you ask for it. And as we saw with FTX or Mt. Gox or any of the various other exchange collapses, sometimes that trust is misplaced.
If they go bankrupt, your money is gone.
If the government freezes their assets, your money is frozen. You've reintroduced the middleman, the trusted third party, that Bitcoin was specifically designed to remove.
On the flip side, we have non-custodial, the sovereign model.
You control the seed phrase. You are the bank. No one can freeze your funds. No one can bankrupt you and take your money.
But, and it's a huge but,
There's zero forgiveness.
Zero.
If you lose your seed phrase, there is no forgot password link. There is no customer support number you can call. The money is gone. Stefan Thomas is the poster child for this reality.
it's a heavy responsibility. It requires a level of personal accountability that most modern people just aren't used to. We're used to safety nets. We're used to being able to call the manager.
It is. And for total beginners, I sometimes argue that a regulated public exchange might be safer initially.
Really? That's almost heresy in some circles.
I know, but hear me out. A beginner is far more likely to lose a piece of paper or get phished for their seed phrase than a massive regulated exchange like Coinbase is to get hacked or go bankrupt today.
That's probably true.
But the ultimate goal of being in crypto should always be self-custody. To learn, to practice, and to graduate to holding your own keys.
Looking ahead, does it always have to be this scary, this one mistake in your ruined paradigm? Is this the permanent state of crypto, or is there a better way on the horizon?
Thankfully, no. This isn't the end game. The technology is evolving. We're moving towards something called account abstraction and smart contract wallets.
Count abstraction. Okay, what does that look like? How does it solve the Stefan Thomas problem?
Imagine a wallet that isn't just a simple key pair. It's a smart contract. And you can program rules into it,
Like what kind of rules?
like social recovery. Imagine a wallet where you can appoint guardians. These could be 3 trusted friends or family members, or even a third-party security service.
Okay.
If you lose your main key, you don't lose the money. You initiate a recovery process.
Right.
The smart contract pins your guardians. If a majority of them say, 2 out of 3 say, yes, that is him, we vouch for him, let him back in, they can approve a reset of your access key.
Social recovery. That's clever. It mimics the social trust we have in the real world without needing a central company.
Exactly. Or, another rule, setting daily spending limits. If a hacker gets your key, they can't drain the whole wallet instantly because the smart contract says maximum 1 ETH per day.
So it gives you time to react, time to notice the hack and move your funds to a backup wallet.
Right. It transforms a catastrophic failure into a manageable problem.
So it starts to feel more like a pie count in terms of safety nets, but without actually giving custody to a bank. You keep the sovereignty, but you lower the anxiety.
That's the dream. User-friendly, forgiving, but still decentralized and self-sovereign. We aren't quite there yet as an industry standard, but the tools are being built right now. For now, though, you have to be vigilant.
So let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground. We went from Stefan Thomas's $200 million nightmare to the number of atoms in the universe, to mixing paint, to burying steel plates in the backyard.
It's a wild landscape. It requires a different way of thinking about what it means to own something.
If we summarize the pillars here for everyone listening, what are the key takeaways?
Private key is the master secret, the thing you never show anyone. Public key is the mailbox slot, the address you can share freely.
And the seed phrase is the human-readable version of that master secret. It's the backup you guard with your life.
And the wallet is just a keychain. It's a tool. It's not the money itself.
And if you have real money involved, get it offline.
Get a hardware wallet. Don't leave your life savings on an exchange. It's just not worth the risk.
I want to leave the listener with a challenge. Don't just listen to this and nod your head. Actually do a security audit today, right now, after this is over. Where is your seed phrase? Is it in a screenshot on your phone? Go delete it. Now, write it down on paper. Is that paper in a drawer your dog can chew? Move it somewhere safe, a fireproof safe.
Don't be Stefan Thomas with 2 guesses left, staring at a fortune he can't touch.
Exactly. Be the person who sleeps soundly at night, because in this new world, knowledge, specifically the knowledge of your keys, is the only form of ownership that truly exists. Everything else is just a promise.
And math. Math doesn't make promises. It just is.
Well said. Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you on the next one. Stay safe out there.